Hi, my name is Kaylee. I work at Quality Sewing and Vacuum in Everett, and today I'm going to go over the AccuQuilt machine. We're going to go over the basics of cutting your fabric, aligning your fabric on pre-marked lines, fabric prep, and also maintaining your machine and your die boards. If at any point in time during this video you feel like we're going too fast or you want to join along with us, pause the video, grab your machine, grab a die, some fabric, notepad and pen, and join along. Let's get started. So to start off, I want to introduce you to your machine. This is the AccuQuilt Go Big. It's the electric cutter, but there also is the manual cutter. So depending on what machine you have, follow along, the steps are the same, okay? So I have here our die board. So let me introduce you to the die board. You have two-tone foam, and between the two-tone foam is your blade. So don't press down there, it hurts. It will cut your finger, so be careful. It'll cut up to 6 layers of quilter's cotton. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my fabric here. And what you can do with your fabric is you can actually put right sides together, because you can cut up to 6 layers of quilter's cotton. I'm going to cover my half square triangle on this die right here. Oh, but before I do that, let's talk about fabric. So your fabric will talk to you. I know that sounds a little odd, but if you listen to your fabric, it has 2 different pitches to it. You want your high pitch, and then you have your low pitch, and of course, you have your bias, okay? So your high pitch is gonna be your lengthwise grain, and your low pitch is your crosswise grain. So you want your lengthwise grain to go with your die. So we're gonna line up our fabric. When you cut, you want to make sure that the label is either towards you or across from you, okay? So we're going to lay that on the machine. Again, take our crosswise grain and lay it on the die board. You want to make sure that you're covering your two-tone foam, just like that, okay? And I'm going to cut a half square triangle as well. So you can cover the entire board or just what you want to cut. I'm going to, again, put right sides together. Cover up that half square, overlapping a little bit, and I'm going to grab my mat, okay? The die will not cut unless you have your mat on top. So we're going to put our mat here, send it through the machine. So much work. Catch it on the other side. There we go. We're all good. So now there's a lot of static electricity that happens here, because inside the machine itself is a roller. There's no blades or anything in the machine, so I can put my hand in here, it's not going to hurt. The blades are in the die. So we want to give our mat a little bit of love. We want to slide it off to the side and remove our excess fabric, just like so. Okay. Now sometimes there's little threads that get caught, like this one here. So I'm going to continue to remove my excess, and I have a little pair of scissors right next to me. I'm going to trim, and now I have my half square triangles, and I have my perfect square. Okay, so you don't have to worry about wonky edges. It's all taken care of for you. So we're going to set our scraps off to the side. Don't need those. And now we could then take this over to our machine, stitch. It already cut off the dog ears for us, so we don't have to worry about matching up our perfect points. And you just sew 1/4 of an inch, one side to the other, and you're all set. So if you have a lot of half square triangles in your quilt, it's taken care of real quick. Okay, so those are some of your quilting options that's available for your AccuQuilt machine. Now I'm going to show you my favorite die. Love this die. It's the 2.5 inch strip die. Okay, the nice thing with this is, you know, when you're cutting out your binding and you're doing your borders on your quilts, you know, you get out your mat, get out your rotary cutter, and it can kind of go a little wonky. This one, it's all taken care of for you. So with this one, you have a few pre-marked lines. There is no two-tone foam, it's all one color, because they wanted to showcase some of these lines here, okay? So the other thing to take note with the strip cutter is it only cuts vertical. It does not cut horizontal. Even though there are some horizontal lines, it's all vertical. So we're going to prep this with piece of fabric, lay it over our marks here, okay, lining up the edge with the mark line up here. We'll then take our excess fabric and just fold it over, right like that. There we go. Now we're going to take our really large mat here, cover the surface space, and we're going to slide it into the machine. Okay, so while this is going, I could then prep my fabric for my next dye that I'm going to send through, or I can just wait, or I can go to the kitchen, grab a cookie, whatever your choice is. I'm going to catch it on the other side. There we go. Okay, now again, a lot of static electricity, so we're going to give it some love. Slide it off to the side. There we go. So now I have perfect 2.5 inch strips. 1, 2, and 3. All done. Minimal wastage. I'm going to take that, set it off to the side. Don't need it. Now we're going to showcase our pre-marked lines on here. So I'm going to take a strip and I'm going to lay it on the 90-degree angle here, and I'm going to fan fold. Okay, so keep in mind 6 layers of quilter's cotton. There we go. I'm going to take another piece here. I'm going to lay it on my 30-degree. Okay, I'm going to lay one on my 45. There we go. And you can fold over your excess, that's fine. Okay. Now I'm going to lay one on my 60-degree mark. Folding it over. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to take my mat again, put it over the machine, over the die, send it through. Oh, didn't even break a sweat. So now I take my 2.5 inch strips and make them 2.5 inch squares. I also have my angles too. So you can do a star with this, you can do your bias. It's endless. And there's a ton of different sizes that you can pick from with the strip dies. Okay. Again, what are we gonna do? Give it a little love. Slide it off to the side. Remove our excess fabric here. Okay, let's see, here's my 60, here's my 30, my 45, and my 2.5 inch squares. So all taken care of, no stress, no worries. So you can cut time and quilt more, okay? I'm gonna remove our fabric here. So along with the strip dies, AccuQuilt has come out with a few different dies to pick from. So the next one is a bob block. So this is for those quilters out there. The bob block is a block on board. So everything you'll ever need to create a square is right here. That's it. So with this one, it doesn't look like much. It looks like a bunch of shapes. So when you put it all together, it actually creates this little wall hanging called a wonky heart. Okay, so keep an eye out for some of those block on boards that are out there. They make a lot of cool designs. So put that right there. Okay, so we have our bob blocks, we have our basic quilting blocks, and we have our strip dies. That's not all, there's more. So this is a fun die. It's our Northwest Medley. So it has all your fun little animals. And let's actually cut out a funky looking bear. What I've done to prep my fabric is there's many different ways you can prep your fabric, but what I chose is I chose Steam a Seam 2. So I steamed it onto the back of the fabric, left one side of paper on here. So after we cut it, all I have to do is put it on a garment, press it down, you're good to go. You can also use Material Magic or Best Press to stiffen up your fabric as well. So I'm gonna cut out, I'm gonna cut out this moose. It's gonna be kind of a funky looking mousse, but let's do it. So with this one, I don't need to cut the whole area, so I'm actually going to take a small 6x6 mat and cover just the area I'm going to cut. Okay, send it through. Okay, catch it on the other side. Release this, give it some love. Slide it off to the side. There we go. Remove our excess fabric. And voila, I have a funky looking mousse. But you can put it on your jacket, you could put it on a towel like I did here. Okay, so you have a few different options that you can do. Easy way to spruce up a kitchen, definitely. Okay, so we talked about a lot of different dyes here. But you know, there's one more dye out there that's incredible, and that's the cube system. So here I have an 8-inch cube. You can make up to 72 different block configurations with this cube. That's right, 72, and that's just what AccuQuilt created. You can actually create a whole lot more just with this. So it's nice and organized, compact, ready to go. We're gonna open this up. There's 8 different dyes that come with this cube system. Here we go. Voila, it's all there. Nice and organized, ready to go. It actually comes with a 6-inch mat as well. So all you need is your machine, some fabric, and your cube, and you can go on a retreat. So some fun different options that you can do. A lot of variety, a lot of dyes out there. It's endless. So we've talked about dyes, we've talked about the machine. Let's talk about maintenance a little bit. So with maintaining your machine, it's really simple. All you need is just a microfiber cloth. You can go in and just clean off that roller. It can sometimes get a little sticky, so you just want to go in and clean that up a little bit. That's totally fine. Now, dye maintenance is a little different. AccuQuilt has this dye pick, and what you can do is when all those threads and fibers get caught in your dye here, all you do is take your dye pick and pick towards the blade. So you don't want to damage the foam, you want to pick towards the blade. Okay? You can also take a lint brush and just brush over the top of it to get rid of some of those fibers as well. Now, sometimes you'll get on a project and all of a sudden your dye is just not cutting. Well, it's probably not the dye, just be forewarned, it's probably your mat. Okay, the mat does give a little bit because you are cutting through a lot of layers of fabric. It's going to scar and mark up your mat. That's completely fine. It's okay. Just get a new one. They're inexpensive, so you can line up your mat again and go for it and keep on cutting. Okay? So I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope that you found value in the time we spent together. If you still have questions and you're in the Puget Sound area, feel free to call your local Quality Sewing. If you're outside the Puget Sound area, call the phone number down below and a member of our team will help you. You can also visit our website at www.qualitysewing.com, where you can chat with us live and see some of our staff members' favorite notions. We would love to see what you've created with your AccuQuilt machine or any other machine. Feel free to post on our Facebook page or tag us on Instagram with the hashtag Quality Sewing. We encourage you to watch all of our Getting Started videos to help you learn the features and functions of your machine. Thank you. Happy sewing.